Is the R5 Mark II unable to operate in the cold? Well, we've got multiple reports indicating that the camera is shutting down when temperatures drop to the freezing temps. The latest report provides detailed observations in the cold Nordic environment, detailed enough to allow us to do our own tests. But before we get to the details, please subscribe to this channel. It doesn't cost you anything, helps this channel grow, and keeps you up to date on the latest camera coverage. Over the past couple of months, I've received multiple reports that the R5 Mark II is shutting down when the temperatures get cold. Multiple reports from Europe and the United States. But none of these have provided me enough detail to be able to replicate, let alone even report on it. At least, up until now. A cold night on the Northern Lights hunt. The camera was on a tripod and we'd been out for 40 minutes. The camera had been in sleep mode when I activated it, and then I got a black screen with the red battery icon and the message, change or charge battery. I then took 2 fresh batteries at 100% from my camera bag and continued to shoot for the rest of the night. And when I got home, those used batteries, well, one of them was at 98%, while the other 60%. So they were far from running out. And just in case you're wondering, is he using the old LPE6NH batteries? And I've got a bunch of them here myself. No, this photographer was using the brand new LPE6P batteries. But he goes on, he cites 2 other examples of where he had trouble shooting with the camera just shutting off. Another cold evening to take pictures, this time of a comet in the night sky. The camera once again was on the tripod and we had been out for about 90 minutes. The camera had been in sleep mode when I activated it, and I got the black screen once again with the red battery icon and the message, change or charge battery. Again, I took 2 fresh 100% batteries from my bag, and these 2 fresh batteries kept the camera running for a few minutes before, once again, shutting down with the same message. I turned the camera off and on again, and I managed to revive it and see that both batteries were at 98%. A few seconds later, the camera shuts down again with the same message. I tried to mix around the 4 different batteries, and in the end, I managed to keep the camera running. Okay, so in both of these shooting situations, they're using LPE6P batteries, 4 of them with the R5 Mark II. And the ambient temperature, for those of you curious, well, it varied. It varied between 4 to 7 degrees Celsius, which is about 39.2 to 44.6 degrees Fahrenheit. And in this third attempt with the Canon EOS R5 Mark II, the BG-R20 battery grip, 4 LPE6P batteries, Lexar Professional 1TB gold, the RF to EF adapter, and the EF 600mm f4L image stabilized USM, he sets out again. It's a cold morning in the forest. He was out for about 60 minutes. The camera had been in sleep mode when he activated it, and again, he got the black screen with the red battery icon with the message, change or charge battery. So he did what any of us would do. He turned it on and off again, and he brought it back to life to see that the battery was at 98% and the other one at 54%. The camera shuts down after a few seconds. Then he takes 2 fresh batteries, again charged at 100%, and the camera, well, it immediately shuts down again with the same message. So he tries shuffling around the 4 different batteries, the LPE6P batteries. But in this situation, nothing works. So he removes the battery grip and tries each battery alone in the camera, still getting the same message. But luckily, one of the batteries keeps the camera running so that he can continue without a problem, and he was able to go the rest of the day. Since I got the R5 Mark II back on August the 20th, I've been shooting with it, and a lot. With the 24 to 105, the 100 to 500, the 200 to 800, the 50mm f1.2, and even the 100mm f2.8. It was rare that I wasn't out with this camera. I really liked it. I actually had a lot to shoot. From the open house of the fire department, to Halloween, and many other events, including the Santa Claus parade, which was just last week. It wasn't cold. There was no frost, no snow. In fact, it's been a rather warm year. At least, up until this past weekend, where temperatures dropped well below 4 degrees Celsius and are trending to drop even further, down to as cold as -8 in the latest forecast. So in my first attempt, I took the R5 Mark II outside in ambient temperatures of 4 degrees Celsius, or about 39-40 degrees Fahrenheit. I let it sit for about 20 minutes, and I started shooting with the 24-105 and the 100-500 millimeter f4, or f at 4.5 to 7.1. I was also using the LP-E6P batteries, and I also tried the battery grip. But no matter what I tried, I couldn't get it to shut down or display the change or charge battery message. Nothing. So I thought, okay, well, instead of leaving it outside on the porch where somebody could, well, steal it from me, I left it in the garage and let it cool down, and I waited about another hour until temperatures dropped down to 3 degrees Celsius. Once again, I went outside and shot with a 100-500 millimeter. At this point, it was dark. I couldn't get any usable shots, and I wasn't really trying to frame anything. I was just trying to see if I could force this, well, error message. I hadn't shot in temperatures this cold with the R5 Mark II in the past 3 months. Nothing. Now I tried both stills and video. The photographer that I cite in the last 3 examples was just shooting stills. I wasn't able to replicate the same lens, and the battery grip wasn't the BG-R20 that he talked about, but the CF BG-20, which is the cooling grip. So I thought, okay. And I was out for at least half an hour that time, not 90 minutes like the photographer had mentioned. So I thought, well, let's try it one more time, only this time I'm going to let it sit in the garage for a good 2 to 3 hours, wait till it gets really cold, down to about 1 degree Celsius, which is about 34 degrees Fahrenheit. And you know what? Nothing. No matter what I did, shot video and stills, the 100-500, the 24-105, with batteries in the camera or batteries in the battery grip, I didn't have any problems whatsoever. So I went to bed. I'd scripted this video, but I had a problem. I didn't have any replication, and I reached out to the photographer asking him some more follow-up questions about the type of gear, about more information on the temperature, which I have already presented to you. Did he shoot video or stills? And he confirmed that he just shot stills. But overnight, it had dropped down to -4 degrees Celsius, or 27 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the coldest that this camera's ever encountered. Well, this particular model in my hands. -4, I thought, okay, if it's something to do with the kit that I've got, surely I should be able to replicate it. So I put the 100-500 millimeter on a fresh LP-E6P battery, and guess what? Nothing. And I shot for a while, 60 minutes, nothing. I tried the battery grip, again, nothing. No error message. It worked like a charm, producing stills and video, and I was just careless, recording for extended periods of time, holding down the shutter button, trying to get it to use as much power as it could to generate the error. But it didn't. However, as I was wrapping up testing, I remembered that I had a similar problem with the R5 Mark I. All of a sudden, it would stop recording and present me with some sort of error related to the battery not being either compatible or not Canon certified. I can't remember which. Now that error message that I got in the R5 Mark I, the camera that I'm shooting with right now, it only happened a couple of times, and it was a different error message and a different scenario than what this photographer and others have been telling me about for the past couple of months. One thing I'm sensing, because I'm not having any issue, and I know what you're thinking, Craig, what firmware level is he at? And I checked 1.0.1, the same firmware version that I'm up to. And if you've been checking lately, Canon's only issued a single firmware update. And here's what I think is going on with any new product, whether it be a laptop, a camera, a new computer, a new update to an operating system. You can expect at least the next 3 firmware updates or software updates to deal with all those issues that they didn't get fixed in time for the release. It's pretty common. And what I suspect is going on here is that the firmware, or perhaps there's certain conditions that is triggering the firmware to say, hey, there's something wrong with the battery. I believe this is software related and not so much hardware related. And I think what we'll see is a firmware update that's going to correct this. After all, it took about 6 months to work out most of the biggest issues with the Mark I, although it took to firmware 1.6 to finally deal with that overheating situation. And if you're having a similar situation with the R5 Mark II, let us know in the comment section down below, but be as detailed as you possibly can, because if others are going through with this, and I know multiple are, it will help them understand where it's happening. But as I saw, and it could still happen to me, it didn't in the test that I did over multiple days, but it doesn't mean to say it couldn't happen to me. And most likely it'll happen at the worst possible time. But if you're looking to buy a camera with all the bugs worked out, then you should really consider getting, well, the Canon EOS R5 Mark I. After all, it's $27.99, the lowest price we've ever seen for the camera. That's $1,500 less than, well, the R5 Mark II. That's a lot of money, $1,500 less. And you've got to ask yourself, based on the capabilities you need, is the R5 Mark II $1,500 more? Is it worth more than the Mark I? And if the answer is no, well, for you, consider getting the R5 Mark I. And I know some of you are asking, well, surely we'll see a better price on Black Friday. It's possible, but I wouldn't be betting on it. In fact, I think this might be the lowest price ever that we see for the Canon EOS R5 Mark I. And it's not the only camera that we see on sale. From Canon, Nikon, Sony, there's so many sales out there. I've got 20 to 30 of the best sales in the description down below. From Sony, yes, Sony has multiple sales on right now. So does Canon, so does Nikon. I'm just absolutely shocked by the number of sales. And if you do use any of these links, then, well, a big thank you, because you're helping to keep the lights on, pay for the electricity and all the equipment and all that. Viewer funded, I very much appreciate that. And something else you might want to consider, and that's making the purchase now instead of waiting for a better deal on Friday. Because if the price drops further on Friday or even later in December, well, you can reach out to B&H and Adorama, and both have confirmed that they will, well, refund the difference. And if you're not buying from B&H or Adorama and you're not from the United States, well, reach out to your local camera store, ask them what the refund policy is, and that if they drop the price between now and, let's say, the end of the refund policy, will they refund the difference? And I'm willing to bet that they'll all say yes. I reached out to my local camera store and they told me the same thing. So we've got some really great deals on right now. And yes, we could see some other deals announced on Friday. But right now, these camera stores, they have stock. And if you wait until Friday, they might not. And based on how long it's taken to get lenses like the 200 to 800 millimeter, or even at times the 100 to 500 millimeter, if you buy it now, I know with B&H, they've extended the refund policy till the end of January. And of course, if anything goes cheaper on Black Friday, they'll refund the difference, as you saw from my little video clip talking to them through chat. But, you know, if you do want to wait until Friday and see what the best deals are, well, I'm doing a live stream starting at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to have some special guests on our guest panel, one of them from a major camera maker. And we're going to talk about what the best deals are on right now. We're also going to take a look at what's in people's camera bags. So instead of just looking at sale items, you're also going to get to see what people are shooting with, why they shoot with that, what they consider to be the best lens for whatever camera they're shooting with. And you're not going to want to miss this, because I've got some really interesting guests. And on the Canon rumor front, I've got an interesting guest there as well. So I hope to see you Friday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the good news about this Black Friday, like we've seen with many other Black Fridays, if you don't want to deal with those massive store situations where people are just rushing and cramming into each other, where fights break out, use the mouse, buy online, and you're probably going to have a much better experience with most of your purchases being done by 10 a.m. in the morning. And join us. Let us know what you're buying. Do it online with us. I've already bought something myself. Some of you might already know. It's more of a pre-order, and it's for the Canon RF 50mm f1.4. So I believe that starts shipping around December the 14th, around the same time that the 200 to 800 millimeters started shipping. See, I've got the 200 to 500 f4 on my mind, and no, I haven't heard anything further. I haven't heard anything further on the R6 Mark III, and don't expect a lot of rumors to come forward this week. It's all about Black Friday, and even if other sites have information, they're probably not going to say anything. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for tuning in, and a big thanks to those of you that have used my affiliate links in the past for both Adorama and B&H. Have yourself a great day, a great week, and if I don't see you before Friday, I hope to see you Friday morning for live coverage of Black Friday. Cheers, have a good one, and we'll see you again soon.